What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, just after 10:30 East Coast time, last trade on MULN, 47 3/4. Are we headed for our third reverse split this year and about to be delisted from Nasdaq after they just offered 82 million shares? Or, as they flush the stops at $0.50, is there a possibility that this is actually a massive setup and we're about to have a major bounce into the end of this week? All that and more coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Tuesday to you. Last trade on MULN, 4779. Holy shit, right? Let's just cut to the chase. As I've said since day one, anytime you buy a stock under $1, there's always a possibility that it's a scam, and this is no different, right? The appearance of vehicles and sport utilities and this and that, and a big event on August 24th where they could generate somewhere between $50 and $100 million of real orders and actually get paid this time from Randy MULN. It appears, at least on the surface, that it's real. But as we learned last night in an S8 filing, they just issued 82 million shares, 52 million of which I talked about yesterday in the video as I was strolling through the park and took a lot of hate. Probably going to get even more thumbs down today. That's fine. I have a simple rule, by the way, before I finish out what could be a glass half full story with MULN, long the stock at 4.5. I had a number of haters yesterday. One woman who said, hurry the hell up, quit wasting my time, get to the fucking point. Negatory. I will walk and talk at the speed I want when I'm out in nature, and I speed it the hell up and get rather intense inside. But if you act like a dick or a bitch, you'll be removed from this channel. With that said, last trade on MULN, 48 cents. They had an S8 filing. Yeah, I really said that. We had an S8 filing last night, 52 million shares we knew about. We voted for that before the last 1 for 9 reverse split. What caught me off guard was the 30 million shares for David. 14 million for stock-related performance in 2022, 16 million for this year. So apparently, as long as you have a backlog, even though your stock is down 99.9%, you can gift yourself roughly $21 million worth of stock. Now, it does make sense, glass half full, to give your employees 52 million shares, no greater than, as the S8 said, 70 cents, right? You want to get them in the door at a low price so that if they do produce 50, 100, 200, some are going as high as $500 million in the next 2 years in terms of realized revenue, they've got a chance to make some money. The part that caught me way off guard, and I'm about to give you a potential positive as to why they're doing this, was David's 30 million shares. I read the S8. It appears that that was written into the last filing, but I never saw it. So here we are today, last trade, 48 1/4. Again, I said about an hour ago before I did this video, they're probably going to flush the stops at $0.50. They did. I think the low was somewhere around 47.5. We're caught under $0.50. In order for this to be bullish in any way, shape, or form, we're going to have to get up and over 61 where we just broke down. Then you got more major resistance that I've talked about at 85. So is it possible that you could be buying the stock for a quick trade in the high 40s for somewhere between 65 and 82? Yeah, it's very possible. But we could also be looking at a quarter. I've always said this could be a scam. Any stock is a scam. I'm down 80%. I may lose even more. But I have said for, weeks, don't be buying any more stock. I laid off of just over $1. For me, it's how much am I going to lose, not how much am I going to make. I do not give this any chance whatsoever to go north of where I own it at 4.5. And for all the fucking snowflakes out there who like to drop piles of dung on my wall, act like a dick, get treated like a dick. Act like a bitch, you'll get treated like a bitch. I have racked up 744% gains, 16 of the last 17 since April for 487%. So yeah, this is a major whopper in the negatory direction. But after 30 years of trading, half of that as a broker, I know what the fuck I am doing. Do not take what I'm about to say as gospel. This is my opinion. I could be dead wrong. We were on day 4 of attempted compliance. David comes out and buys about $110,000 shares at 98 cents. And we're all scratching our head. Why did they wait until the 4th day? And then why did they give up $1 and let the fucking stock drop 50%? Well, glass half full, and I could be wrong. Somebody made the decision, probably Acuitas and people that are a hell of a lot smarter than David, maybe even the lawyers to some extent, and I'll explain why, to let it fall, to let it cave. They still have approximately $22 million of the $25 million buyback. So they let it implode. They let the stops get triggered. 99% of stock twits and everywhere else all over social media. He belongs in jail. I'm going to lose all my money. I'm ready to jump out the window, all the above. That to me reeks of a potential bottom. So they let it fall. They have the ability right now to buy up about 25% of the outstanding shares even after the dilution. So follow me here for a second. They let it fall. Last trade 49 and a quarter. Let's assume it starts pumping into the close. Probably them reassuming or reasserting the buyback. They continue it for the rest of the week. Let's say they get it up into the mid to high 60s or 70 cents a share. They then come out with an announcement that we completed our buyback, most of it between 48 and let's call it 60 cents a share. And this is important, because 52 million shares were granted to employees for stock incentive, and David has 30 million shares of stock, which I hope he announces has no intention to sell. Between that 82 million and what we just bought back, we now control 60% or thereabouts of the outstanding shares since the most recent reverse split. We go into the August 24th. I hope to God they've got $50 to $100 million of realized orders that they're actually getting paid for. We then head into September 5th, negatory on the compliance. However, as some of you rightly pointed out on social media, just like MCOM did, they're going to request what? A hearing, an appeal. Do remember, BBIG, and I hate to bring this up, it traded for more than 6 months after the delisting notice on Nasdaq, right? We couldn't figure out why. Why are they still letting this thing trade? Why did it pump from 1 1/4 to where I was screaming at you to get out if you hadn't already in the 5s? Who the hell knows? It can often stay 3 months, 6 months, or even longer. So for those of you that think on September 6th, it's automatically pushed to the pink sheets, wrong. It's possible. And I could be wrong. They let it fall. They're buying up a huge chunk of stock over the next few days. Between the 82 million they just granted and what they buy back, they may control 50 to 60% of the outstanding shares, and that doesn't even account what the other insiders might be doing. So they get the appeal. What happens generally? It's 30 to 60 days. So they may not have to go into Nasdaq until sometime around, let's call it Thanksgiving, which would mean what? It will still trade on Nasdaq for the next month or two. They then go in there with their lawyers and they say, look, we have, as a result of this implosion in particular, from $1 to 47 cents, 300 million shares, as an example, of illegal naked shorts. These are the names. These are the directors. These are the amounts. In addition to that, Mr. Judge or Mrs. Panel, we racked up $100 million of realized revenue from zero over the last 9 years. Therefore, we respectfully ask for a 6-month extension. Nasdaq, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, will most likely say, okay, you've proven, or it looks like you've got enough proof here that there's been some major amounts of naked short selling, which has been illegal in the dark pools. You have seen a massive jump in revenue, and I'll read something to you in a second as to what I'm referring to. So we're going to give you 6 months. However, as many of you rightly pointed out, you're going to have to do a vote, another shareholder meeting for a third reverse split as part of the compliance package. It doesn't mean they have to do it. Are they probably going to at some point? Yeah. Do they have to? No, but it's part of their requirement to get any extension, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, or most likely 6 months. So in closing, this is the part that I have some optimism. Not all. I'm getting my ass kicked and I own it. Some optimism as to why in Rule 3810, which is the one for 250 reverse, why they could possibly get an extension, which explains why they let it fall so they could buy it up and issue the stock to incentivize employees under 70 cents. And I quote, this happens to do when you request an appeal. The company will have an opportunity to present its plan to regain compliance to a panel. This plan of compliance should include the implementation of a reverse split in the near term. In other words, they're not going to give them another 3 months or 6 months, most likely, because of the naked selling they could prove. And what I hope is huge amounts of revenue coming out of August 24. They're not going to give them the chance to regain organically for the next 6 months unless they put out a vote. So do not be surprised if they have to come out and say, we have to submit a vote. We have no intention. We think because we get a compliance extension or an extension from Nasdaq, and I'm assuming that they will, we're going to get it up over $1 organically within 6 months. And I continue. Inappropriate cases is the key word. Inappropriate cases, and so long as a company commits to the implementation of a reverse split within 180 days of the delisting notification, this is important. The panel may also consider other factors, quote, such as the company's fundamental financial strengths and weaknesses. Well, up until now, weak, right? 9 years of being 2014 when they got founded, public for the last few years through a reverse merger, fundamentals are weak. Dilution is off the chain. Some people can make a case, and I agree with them, that somebody should be in jail for what's going on. But strengths, what if they go from 0 to 75, 100 million or more, and they can prove it to a panel sometime between now and Thanksgiving? I continue. The overall market conditions. There's the naked selling. If the lawyer who's been dead fucking silent for the last 2.5 months can prove without pretty much a shadow of a doubt, especially recently from $1 to 47 cents, then they have to give them some sort of leeway, I would think. The company's historical bid price, that's been negatory. It failed the last time to hold more than 10 days. We failed this time on day 4. That's been awful. And in pending disclosures, corporate actions, and strategic business plans that the company believes may impact its bid price. In other words, in closing, if they can paint a picture that they were the victim of massive amounts of naked selling, and the law firm they hired has got success in court in crucifying some naked shorts in the past, they can say that we went from 0 to 100 million. They can then, based on strategic business plans and corporate actions, outline how they're going to do 200 million next year. I saw the other day, what is it, the MULN 103, and forgive me, I'm a little intense at the moment. The first shift is going to do 3,000 vehicles. They plan to do a second shift next year that could do 6,000 vehicles in the year. Well, do the math. That's close to $200 million. If they can lay out 0 to 75 million to 250 million to 500 million or more in 2025 or 6, then I believe, and it's not a guarantee, that Nasdaq is most likely going to grant them an extension. Always remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, that I love you, and keep giving me those thumbs down, and thanks for watching. Did he really say bitch?